All right, here we go again. Buckle up.
You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, I'm trying to get a screen. What do they call that thing? It's that thing that goes a ticker. I'm trying to get a ticker across the screen for the subject area. It's another sign of what I'm seeing. That's why I'm here. Psychic update. A ticker isn't a good sign either. We don't want any tickers out there that we have to investigate. Because it's kind of passe. A lot of people don't do it that way anymore. Hold on. There we go. Make sure my volume is up. There it is. All right, so we're getting near an election, so it's normal for the paranormal activity to increase because people are projecting, willing, cursing, casting spells more so than they are healing. But there could be also something else afoot. I don't know. So interesting, the flock camera thing. Now I haven't seen and haven't really looked. Just I'm driving to the VA and I'm about 50 foot away from some road crew maintenance spotlights that they're not out. They're just compacted down about 4 foot high. It's obvious to me that they were work lights. But it doesn't mean that happens for everybody. Because the inference was, again, I can tell what they're trying to do because they try to do it to me and it doesn't affect me in that way. I can analyze it, and I can psychically analyze it. So essentially it was saying this is those darn flock cameras. It's trying to get me riled up. It couldn't do it, of course, but it doesn't mean that it can't do it, especially if somebody's down further in intrinsic power. So that's one of the things. What was the other one? There was some negative stuff around the VA. I don't remember exactly how it was all coming across. I had some things I had to do. Something else, though. It's trying to convince me of something. I don't know. But you get the idea. That's out there. There was a couple things today. And, the flock camera could even be coming from the people, if they're not controlled in the mind, that are trying to get rid of flock cameras. Or those people could be a victim to that thing. It's not rational. It's not rational to get rid of flock cameras. We don't get rid of automobiles just because somebody uses it for a crime. We don't tell everybody you can't drive automobiles because you can get away from police on them. I mean, that's what you're essentially saying, because somebody somewhere misuses flock cameras, that rid of them. There's no constitutional right for there not to be flock cameras. People are allowed to take their little cell phone and film police all day, then they can use flock cameras. It's just the way the laws work. Now, if you can prove that they were stalking you, then you have a case, and that's how you handle it. And there's a difference, and again, law enforcement officers should be cautioned. There's a difference because they get away with it. That's why they do it. So you can't let them get away with it. You don't have to fire them the first time you catch them, but if you don't manage it, then you're going to have to fire them because the 50 millionth time they did it, it gives something, or somebody, that gives a hell, or who finds out about it, or you get paranoid because now it's out of control. So again, just the program needs to be managed, right? And you have to understand the number, the amount of use of something will govern it. Will generally, again, absent any type of enforcement, will govern the per capita misuse. So, well, because you have to understand, flock cameras are used every day. We're looking for such heinous people. We're looking for them 24/7. So you're going to have misuse. But again, if you look at per capita, per use or a certain number of uses, I mean, like per 1,000 uses, per 100,000 uses, you're going to find there isn't that much corruption. But it's incumbent upon the police departments, don't play the deep state bullshit, because that's where that comes from. Nobody gives a shit if you use it against Larry. It's amazing, and I'm still helping all of you out of the hole that you put the world into, and yourselves in reality. But I got more money than Larry, so therefore I did God loves me, and I'm doing the right thing, right? He's a sucker, right? But you have to pay for all that, and part of it is hell. You're not going to, for misusing flock cameras, you're not automatically going to go to hell. Just like you're not going to go to hell for being gay. It has to be a whole bunch of other stuff in there. The VA popo is very visible. So I don't know what that means. Maybe we have to heal it. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, let's heal the VA and the VA appointments and things like that. Ya Rafa. Ya Rafu Ishtama. Ya Shalom. Now I'm over at the other VA place now because the appointments are at one place. I don't know what they even do over here. I don't know if it's a hospital, or I guess that's what it is. And a nice guy that got out of the military in the 90s. See, he got the blip, and then they explained it to me. Like, so, this is how my life goes. and they just, we'll call him the heavenly host. So he says, I got out of the military in the 90s, and I don't know, I just got this idea, go over and sign it to VA for volunteering. Right. And I used to do that, at a couple places, but they came against it each time. When I volunteered at the hospital, they spread rumors, and then, of course, the staff willed me away. None of it true, of course, but because I even got that one within the last 5 years, that you didn't just lose interest, they willed you away. They thought you were like some, like cold case criminal. That's how crazy it is. Right. So, he volunteered, and he had the history of the VA. He agreed with me that it's just amazing what it's become, and he knows about the corruption. And he was, I guess, in the Army. He got out like me in the 90s. But see, and then the thing said you didn't get the blip to do that because that would have been a great advantage for you to be in the VA like that, and then when it came time, you'd have knowledge on how to do everything, and you probably would have contacted VA sooner, right? And then less likely lost your records. Oops, because they would have been a little cautious about doing that because you were in VA. So the deep state, if I was in the VA as a volunteer for years, they'd have been a little cautious about upsetting my claim. And who knows? I may not even have had to make the claim so early in my life. But I told him, I said, yeah, I I don't volunteer like that, but I volunteer other places. I said, but I help out, help the VA, suggestions. So, yeah, we'll just call them suggestions. So I'm actually part of that system improving. So yeah, well, you can't ding. I mean, Biden did some too, but again, he wasn't protect. I think Trump's trying to protect the veterans, but it's just the deep state's so freaking heinous. Right. I got to call Giant Eagle. They were supposed to call me. I hope they waive that fee. I mean, if I have to pay it in the end, I got to pay it. But if you ask me, I did all the right stuff. It just their system didn't work. And see, even if I use, because there's two ways to do like a direct withdrawal. It should still link in, even though I went through it. They're saying I went through the wrong system. I believe I called everybody I needed to call, but it ended up in the wrong system. But even though it's supposed to be linked to my card with that direct deposit or direct withdrawal. Right. I mean, the deep state could have hacked it. Very, very likely that they could have. That's what they do all the time. Just create shit in the victim's life so they never get forward. What's that one? What's the aviation hub in Alabama? One of the decent. I can't remember the name of that town. It's not Hunter Ridge. It's the tip of my head. I guess I could look it up. But I almost bought a house when it was a downturn, and they got in the middle. Right. I was cautious because I didn't want to overextend my funds, and right. The thing about it is, I ended up spending more money just trying to survive because I didn't have a house. Right. And again, the deep state cost me tons of money. So if I'd have moved there, I'd have 180,000. It was like a 2,300 square foot house, but it was like one floor. Some of it was like I think even 11-foot ceilings in the family. It was gorgeous home, nice yard, stand off from the road, all that. I don't know. At the most 10 years old, but maybe young, newer. I don't know. Again, it was one of those deals where somebody had to sell, probably. 180,000. It's probably worth like 5 now, at least. That city picked up, So I guess the FBI with some stuff down there or something. All right, the watch children sign just came up. It comes up with inference, so you can heal that. Crimes against children, heal them away. What you don't want to you don't like pray that all people committing crimes against children get arrested, because I mean you could do that, but what we're looking at doing is getting it before the crime exists. So you heal crimes against children away, and that could be somebody sees a doctor, somebody doesn't get possessed, whatever it is. So that's a Rafa, Rafua Shlama, Shalom. Or the switch goes on in their head. Oh, maybe I should do that. Well, here's an example of the way God thinks versus how you all think. What if the only way for there to be no more sex crimes against children is for, but it's just a hypothetical, it could be anything, is for no sex criminals to ever be arrested again, which means some people get away with it. God would say, yeah, let them get away with it as long as we don't have more sex crimes. You all would say no. But again, it's not that. It's probably something, who knows. Because there's different triggers. Oh, for all deep state to commit suicide. I should have said if all the deep state committed suicide, there wouldn't be any more sex crimes. Yeah, I'm on the President Trump attempted assassination road, Whitestown, but I'm up the other end now. I don't know. Collins is what's up, Popo? Collins is figured out Collins is big. I mean, he's doing some great stuff. He'll be accepted into heaven unless he turns into a deep state dog. Now the House and the Senate have been doing stuff to try to keep the Persian Gulf thing alive, so they'll get credit for it. But again, you got to be careful. Don't ruin your way. And it's different what the scripture says because the playing field's different. You could actually, if you weren't like, okay, so possessed a woman or played a game with her head psychologically to get sex from her. Again, if my so what Satan's doing is he letting women in or letting me see women their true selves inside, and I realize, how good of people they are, and like if I could have got to a woman like this, but he's trying to torment me because I can't get anywhere now. I'd be lucky if I could probably find somebody if I spent all day, but again, that could be gone in a second with gold bars and untraceable cash. I mean, Comey's probably got something sitting around his house, or maybe he got rid of it by now. They're still paying McCabe. That's for deep state services rendered. That's why he's in the news and all that. That's how they pay them. Who knows what they're paying them to? They probably overpay them. A couple gold bars or whatever it is. I actually did what I was supposed to do when I left the government. They're lying. Only because when your life picks up, you just focus on your, and that's it. Again, whatever they did, me psychologically worked. I don't want anything to do with it. Again, that's not what they wanted. CIA wants you to have a terrible life and get mad at it and do whatever it is they want you to do, like act violent. Oh, it's the darkest age of our nation is right now, and it's been last 20 years. We're so far behind. There's no way that Social Security should have been treated like that. And then we could have opened it up to investment. Right. And technology's behind. If I look for something and it's not here, then technology's behind. A lot of medications, cancer research. You're blocked from it. Because if you want Aaliyah not to heal, then they're going to block research that could heal her, or it's going to block. And how does that manifest? You could have 10 research scientists that are on the cusp of figuring it out, and then they tell you all to attack their workplace and attack them because we're taking over. That's what Satan does to the mind. Like when I woke up, they know not what they do, but they know what they do is evil. They know that part. Like obviously, I could have solved a few of the genetic equations. Right? They don't let me be. Like they said, there's judges that said that once they saw your legal mind, they should have pushed you through school and got you into the system. Right? So again, they're not helping the Republican Party. They're not helping the Democratic Party. It's just some big, the uniparty doesn't really exist. The deep state exists, and that's a uniparty. Well, again, Bovino, he sounds great, but if we lose the next election, then they might even change the immigration laws to say it's not a crime, and they might abolish ICE. So we can't live this world that Bovino thinks exists. I mean, he's a great strategic and tactical commander, but the commander-in-chief has to take multiple things into consideration so he doesn't lose the House and the Senate. This idea that people only voted for Bovino's efforts is bullshit. We had Arabic people voting for Trump, which he probably lost their vote, but he gained the Jewish vote. Some people were, a ton of immigrants did not vote for that, but they, I guess they thought they were good or something. I don't know. Again, even for immigrants, illegal alienism harms everyone. Now, to a certain degree, if it was in check, we wouldn't call it illegal alienism. We would call it amnesty. And again, amnesty for people. There are people that come over that you don't even know about. Right? As I said, whatever's going on the board, I think the video I saw was an old video from Nick Shirley. I thought it was a newer one. But you could have people at the border coming across. Again, they would probably come to a checkpoint. But you could have people coming across that are, they're people who work for DEA, work for CIA, right? And they got to go. There's an extract these days. Hopefully you still have it. There's a couple of them extracted. I'm like, oh, somebody gave them a plan, I guess. Well, if people work for you, they got to have an extraction plan, and usually involves, border checkpoints. I was connected more so back then down there, so I helped him get out of there if something goes wrong. I couldn't save that one woman. No, I don't think she was dead when I saw her. No, when I first saw her, right, she wasn't. I mean, that's insane. That's genocide. Of course, Mexico doesn't believe a genocide is going on in their own country, right? It's going to point to the old projection point to the United States. So we need to know if these crimes, there should be somewhere where we could say narcotics related crime or not, narcotics addiction motivated crime. Well, because that's part of the loss that we blame the narcos for. Because again, the idea of, they're just using drugs. Overdose isn't the only thing. Murders, suicides, armed robberies, you name it. Rapes. Well, if a woman's passed out, so a bunch of those women pass out and they get raped while they're asleep on the sidewalk. Right. So these are all things that we blame the narcos for. So when I pass that sign, I don't know, some internet company or something, it has a web app where you can send a message into outer space. I don't know if they have a radio telescope or a radio transmitter. I don't know how they're doing it. Nonetheless, every time I pass by, I hear the Cars, Let the Good Times Roll. They say I should put that out into outer space. Let the good times roll. Wait, I don't know what brings it on, but it comes on like I just passed it. The first time was when I was heading to the VA. I was like searching my mind. What would I do? What would I use? And then I go, is there something came up, a spiritual thing, and it says, do let the good times roll. And then I could hear the let the good times roll in my head. Is he passed on? Rick Kasich or whatever his name is. That's the kind of life I'm supposed to have. Let the good times roll, and then I take care of everybody. Like I tried already, but I have already. But it physically manifests the same as the spirit, right? And not just having to fight the system to do it. I should have had a house. I should have had a one of those things, like a motorhome. I get my healing efforts on. I was writing Healing Kensington, Philadelphia in 2004. I could have stayed there, I'd have been still healing it. Right? Who knows if it would have happened? Narcos may never have gained that kind of traction. Yeah, that's because the deep state messes with everything. You don't figure it all out till like 10, 20 years later. That's built into their psyop. Right? how important the work I was doing was and is. I gotta find this guy. I gotta line up. I got a whole bunch of work to do, but I do need to get out there and do stuff. I'm getting a little heavy. I gotta lose weight, or it's gonna do me in. I just wish I had a wife. That's all I needed, man, and they knew it. They have to dump some dirt over there, and I missed the last day we were gonna do it. Let's see if I can find them. It's like everybody's. Is it a holiday today or anything? I guess not. VA was up. I don't want to go to the office because I did it before and it was okay, but I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going around your back and you offered to help me. And right. I didn't see any of the guys out today. Oh, they're over at a different development probably. I wish I could have been here 10 years ago. It'd have been great. 20 years ago even. Right. This would have been like amazing, phenomenal. Let the good times roll. Oh. Now there's space things here, but they're spiritual. Let me see, is my volume? I know my volume cut out, I think, last night. At least the prayers were done. You know, the broadcasted prayers. And the prayers were done anyway. Yeah, I'll get back on schedule here in a bit. A lot came up real quick I had to get done. Well, I like that house. Let the good times roll. I like the one across the street from me, but at my age, buying one is not in the cards. Right. I would even give him a little extra. Let him keep my deposit. It's like $1,000. Maybe give him another 900. They move me over to that one. I guess they're not around. Let the good times roll. Because I like how it has the patio on the side. It even has a little privacy in the backyard. That'd be real nice. Like living in an open area. There were trees here that they had to pull it down to put the trailer in. Manufactured housing. I mean, once you're inside, you don't even feel like you're in a trailer. Right? If you look by the door, you can see a little light. You know, okay, something's wrong here. But you get that in a new house too, like when it settles. I don't feel like it. I used to seal it myself. I put extra seal in when I was in like extended stays and stuff. I would seal the doors because they're never sealed right. Because older places they settle. Thank you, Larry. So here's the equipment, but they're not up here. Thank you, Larry. Well, now I can heal that house without going into the driveway. I go by the equipment area here. Equipment lot. In the coming years, up there they're going to have house, but they're saying they're going to have to be real close together. So I don't know if they'll do like the single wide things and put like 4 up there or something. Somebody's going to get great views once they develop the higher areas around here. Right. I guess they still have great views from over here too. That's what's neat about the Pittsburgh area, and especially up here. If you don't like the view, just wait for the next bridge line. Right. All right, I got my grass cut pretty good. I got to cut it again. I got to get it way low, and then start using. I guess it's a scarifier or something to dethatcher and a scarifier. And then I got the seed. The seed's premium. We have to wait 2 weeks to 3 weeks for it to come up, but it says it's really, really great seed. And then it has enough okay weather until the freeze that it'll take, and then next spring it should look great. I might do it one more time. I don't know. I probably will because I bought all the equipment. Everywhere I live, generally there's an older woman that I help with, like, this idea about me being around young people all day is bullshit. They're the ones that are like that. That's why they do it. They want me busting them with credibility. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God.